have, well, whatever. We have 5,000 players playing on Steam. Right? And you talk about these 10 million copies sold, right? So I don't know how many we should say are in Europe currently on Steam. But that's how many people who have launched the game and have it actively running on Steam. Out of 10 million copies. And then you can see peak players here, right? So those 10 million copies are just the same people that buy the game and then play it for 1 month and then they leave. That's why we had peak 18,766 and then after 1 month it drops down to 6K. Because people were done with the game. It's always the same. Yes. And what is it that Aris said that was so on point then? Because I've been explaining this maybe 8 to 10 times now. You know, how the game sells in regards to, is the console new or not? Is it a tag game or not? It takes a shit long of time. But the thing is that this is something that you gone to main man and you gone to avoiding the puddle. Yeah. So you go to 2 players who do everything in their power to shit talk tag 2, right? Together with Rip. What the fuck is this shit? So here, you have Tekken Tag Tournament 1. Why would you say fuck you, though? Like, why do you need to be, like, rude? Either way. So, here you have Tekken 3, 8.5 million copies, right? And you didn't have fucking streaming services, YouTube, etc. This is due to people buying fucking magazines and so on. So, Tekken 3 became the monster hit. Tekken 1 didn't sell that much, but it still became a hit. And Tekken 1 was released together with the PlayStation. So you could buy the game at the same time PlayStation 1 was released. Right? Then Tekken 3 becomes this monster phenomenon. And then they were actually creating Tekken 4 for PlayStation 2. But due to Namco having such a good relationship with Sony, Sony asked them, we're going to release PlayStation 2. Do you think that you guys can create a Tekken game for it? So they're like, shit, because they were already working with Tekken 4. So they made Tekken Tag Tournament 1, which they based off Tekken 3, and they made this game in 6 months. So this was the game that you could buy at the start of PlayStation 2's era. And it didn't sell as much as Tekken 3. And then, because the casual, they play for story. They don't play to go online or some shit. Casual people just want to see every ending. Okay? And then they noticed that Tekken Tag Tournament 2, it's not canon. It doesn't follow the storyline. Then Tekken 4 comes out, and it's so vastly different, and it actually gets trashed by magazine reviews and gaming reviews and so on, because it didn't feel like Tekken. And in this game, they listened to people that were complaining about Tekken Tag Tournament 1, because I remember in 2001 that I could see pro gaming in televised, like I could download games from televised matches in Korea. And they started disliking backdash cancel, etc. So that's why you don't have backdash cancel in Tekken 4. You automatically go into sidewalk instead of sidestep. Electric doesn't launch, and so on and so on. So people didn't like this. Then Tekken 5 comes out, and you see it immediately, because this game got so trashed. So Tekken 5 was their game that was meant to be make it or break it. So all the characters that were presumed to be missing or dead and so on, like Bruce and Becto-san, they brought everybody back. And it became an arcade hit immediately. And then the arcade owners got angry because they released this game to PlayStation 2 only 6 months after the arcade release. Okay? So the arcade owners got really mad because arcade cabinets cost so much money, so they're like, now I have way less customers. And then they do the update to arcades, Dark Resurrection, that only got released on PlayStation Portable. And then eventually we got that, was it 2007 or some shit, in December, that you could get Dark Resurrection on PlayStation 3. Okay. Then we get Tekken 6, and it's 3.5 million, and this is the first Tekken that they have that you can also play on Xbox. And 3.5 millions. And this was the game that really made like an impact. We already had in Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection a lot of YouTube videos. Most of them that were uploaded were from the Japanese scene. But in Tekken 6, we got Tekken Crash in Korea that people uploaded to YouTube and so on. So this game became like super competitive. And it brought, like, it was, how should I put it? Like, it's called Tekken Crash.
자, 그걸 보면 알아요.
네.
지금 패자전에서
네.
어떤 팀들이 기다리는지 보면은
네.
아, 이번 경기 무조건 잡아야 되는구나 생각.
You played in 3-on-3.
내볼까요? 자,
Nice team was called
네,
Resurrection.
노만팀 나왔고 병맵이기 때문에 벽공방이 서로 가능하죠. 사실 스티브도 정말 좋고 브라운도 좋은데.
No, it's not nationals. It's a league. Nobi? No, this was just Koreans.
사이드킥 역시나 매섭죠.
잡기는 안 걸리는 바깥.
Yeah, it's like ATL. Let's say ATL. And then we had Tekken Strike during Tag 2.
때문에 아무래도 뭐
Here you have Neil.
영상을 본다던가 무슨 뭐 부캐릭이라던가 뭐 다른 선수들한테 연습을 좀 많이 부탁. 이기게 브루스와 공합.
저도 할 수 있는 콤보거든요.
Do you see? You know, we actually been playing Tekken before Tekken 7. I promise you, people were good in other games too.
그렇죠. 8강이다.
8강이라는 거예요.
네.
그래서 이벤트 매치가 아니라 올라갔어요.
네. 브루스 콤보. 자, 그래 잘.
All right. So Tekken 6, even though it says 3.5, this was actually a success. Okay, now we do this. PlayStation 4 release date, 15th of November 2013. In North America, PlayStation 3 in February was launched in North America, November 29, 2013 in Europe, South America and Australia, and then latest in Japan. Okay? So now you see the release date of a new console marking growth. You see? So in Europe, we got it at the end of November 2013. Then you have Tekken Tag Tournament 2. And the sales go down to 1.5. It did really well at the arcades. And they earned a shit ton of money at the arcades. But those figures you can't see here. But during interviews with Harada, because this game was really well received by the Tekken fan base you know, how the reception is, that he noticed that people were having fun with the game. They went to tournaments and so on. He said in an interview, it seems like you guys, because this game was so highly anticipated. Listen, Mark and Grow. So this game was highly anticipated because this game, Tekken Tag Tournament 1, is actually the game that started competitive Tekken. Some people might think like, no, that was actually Tekken 3, but it wasn't. Like, maybe this is the alpha version of competitive Tekken, but Tekken Tag Tournament 1 really made it so that you played fucking Tekken. So let's see. Five rounds. Here you have Yang Iksu. He was considered the best Tekken player in Korea during Tag 1. And you see, this is televised in Korea. So you're just gonna see sidestep and spamming electrics, no poking. Alright? So you understand that people actually play this game competitively in Tag 1. Alright? But the thing is that this game got released 13th of November in Europe 2012. Look now. And 9/11 in America. It says 14th here, right? But it was 13th. I remember it. Unless this was a Friday. Because in America it was released on 9/11, which I thought was kind of weird. And then Europe got it 2 days later. And it's... this is arcade. Okay, I can't... And what they also did, when it... You see here, this is the vanilla version of Tekken Tag Tournament 2. It got released in September at the arcades. Then they got the update in April, I think it was. Okay, let's see. NA 11th of September, 13th of September. Yeah. So they released it in September 2011 at the arcade of vanilla. Then Unlimited, the expansion, so to say, it came in April. And this was the first Tekken that we actually, after the expansion, they released it to console after 6 months again. So we got it fairly quickly. So this game has very little appeal to a casual player because it looks more or less exactly like Tekken 6, but you can play with 2 characters. It doesn't follow the story or anything, so the casual player base lose interest because it's just like a party game. All right, and the most important thing, it's the end of PlayStation 3's era. 1 year after this gets released, the PlayStation 4 is gonna come out. So this game was never tailored to a casual audience. This is more tailored to the fucking hardcore audience. Right? But that doesn't mean that there weren't tournaments being played in this game. And also, regardless of which Tekken you have played, the next Tekken game, you're always gonna find people that lost interest and stopped playing because they didn't like the game. There were people that really hated the fact that you were forced to play with 2 characters in Tag 2. That were like legit one-trick ponies. That's why in the expansion, Tekken Tag 2 Unlimited, that's when they made it so that, you can pick 1 character. So they tried to make it so that all the Lily one-tricks would be happy. Hello, Ducky. So some people stopped playing. For example, Sabri Dabri, Saber Daber from Germany, the guy who's organizing Damage Germany tournaments. He didn't hold any tournaments for Tag 2 because he didn't like the game, because he only wanted to play Nina. He didn't like that he felt forced to pick a side character. And this is something that has happened that people really like Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection, thought that Tekken 6 was bullshit. Why would you get rewarded for losing so you have rage? Like, in every game, you're gonna see people stop playing. So that comes and goes. But so this is the reasoning when you guys think that, oh, we have 10 million copies sold, but like it doesn't matter. Like those 10 millions are good for Namco because now they have more cash money to spend making a great Tekken game. But the majority of the player base are mostly gonna be the same. And we had no numbers to like compare before. Like how many active players do we actually have online? No. The Eddie's back 1-4 is fucked up. And rage damage was too high in Tag 2. So if I would make a Tag 2 like that gets released to Steam, I would take away the counter hit properties of Eddie's back 1-4 and reduce the damage of rage. No, they didn't lie to you. They probably... The thing is that both of them didn't like Tag 2. I don't know, Obellion. The thing is that we had less high evasion in previous Tekken titles than this. Yeah, the thing is that why would they like... I should put it. There's very few people that can be... I got told that I was actually a legit hater. So for example, me, I didn't know why people like Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. So I forced myself to watch all the fucking Pirates of the Caribbean movies in one, several days. I'm just gonna watch this shit. How can this be, And then I did the same shit earlier with the Harry Potter franchise. I tried to do it with the Hunger Games, but fuck that shit. I only watched the two first movies, so I can come and be like, no, Harry Potter movies sucks dick. Pirates of the Caribbean movies, that's a hating move, right? Most people don't do that shit. They don't like it and they don't need to do some research. No, the main man actually enjoyed it a lot in the beginning, and then he started disliking it. No, the thing is, and this is just something that I'm speculating, but there's some like video from the main man's channel where he goes through that he had a girlfriend, they break up, suddenly he has nowhere to live, he finds an apartment where he's like living in a house where they have like actually legit crack addicts and shit, drug addicts. So he was like, and he was depressed, I think. Like he was in a really, really bad spot emotionally. So when all that thing happens and he was streaming Tekken Tag 2, of course, there's some that you think that, oh shit, I'm not gonna it's kind of like me, for example. There's an album that I can't listen to anymore because it reminds me of a bad place in time for work. Yeah, exactly. It can be all kinds of factors, but the thing is that, for example, I think that the amount of tournaments that the main man has gone to in Tekken 7, he has never done the same in any other Tekken game. Whereas I travel to Tekken tournaments in Tekken Tag 2 and Tekken 6 and Tekken 5. And no, I don't think he streamed from the crack house. Yeah, Aris was depressed during, but he says streaming is that what made him go out of depression. But so, and they can all, like, the thing is that they can also dislike the game. Aris didn't like this game because he wanted to play Tekken 6 in Tekken Tag 2, and it doesn't work like that. And this game, the thing that was really funny for me in Tag 2 is that there was so much new shit that you needed to learn. So everybody started out by being a fucking scrub in this game. Right? You couldn't be like, oh, I'm a top player in Tekken 6. I'm going to automatically be a top player in Tekken Tag 2. You needed to practice. And the people that put in the most work and practice in this game, they got heavily rewarded for it. Yeah, I shown that shit too as well. It's from the podcast Avoiding the Puddle, when there's like bitch calling. So if we say it like this, if you ask Bronson and Jimmy J. Tran what their favorite Tekken game is, they're gonna say Tekken Tag 2. Are Bronson and Jimmy J. Tran better Tekken players than Aris?
Like, I grabbed my prop right now.
Yeah, it's really fucked up the way that works. You know, a while back they were scamming old people.
What
you
the
know,
fuck?
like with that Nigerian scam thing.
They called
It's all like your first. It was one of the ones.
something short.
Face guy. The got extra pissed because I thought it was a fucking minion off the internet, and it turned out to be you. So fuck you. You're a bitch. And also the megas. And the face guy. The face into the electric.
A rival?
Yeah.
That guy was cool.
Yeah.
Do you know about Avoiding the Puddle podcast that they used to have, Mark Ingram? This was like the most fun shit to watch. Okay, they used to have this every week, Avoiding the Puddle. Aris, Rick Steezy, and Rip were usually the regulars, and then they had a guest. And then they just talk about fighting events and Tekken news, fighting game news and Tekken news, right? So, cell phone videos of Green Arcade Tekken 7 location test, for example.
He's cool. I mean, he really got cooler after he started smashing his face against shit. That was the hypest part. Like, yeah, we could put that shit on.
So this was everybody watched Avoiding the Puddle.
Might just put it on. Okay, who's the bitch, Jimmy?
Okay, so first off, Johnny's a bitch because he's just so discouraged nowadays, losing to me and Bronson all day. He, for someone who's been competing for like over a decade, like he really lost heart out of nowhere, just losing all day, despite the fact that he says this is his favorite Tekken.
Wow.
And like now that he's gonna play like casually after losing to Ricky.
Yeah, dude, I'm causing everyone problems in this bitch calling today.
Yeah, pesky motherfucker. Okay, Johnny's a bitch.
Yeah, and second, Eris, you are a bitch.
Okay, I'm listening.
You are a bitch
It's not my
because
first rodeo, player. Why am I a bitch?
you're a bitch because it's been like 2 years, but you haven't realized or learned that you can't exactly play Tag 2 like Tekken 6. Like you want to do back forward 2 at the wall and then stomp, and then they wall tag and launch you, and all you do is say fuck raw tag, or not raw tag, wall tag specifically. Even though the same thing would happen with raw tag because it's the same amount of frames, but you just don't. You refuse to take that in consideration. Like you called yourself a competitor, but competitors, like, they adapt to the game. They don't just say fuck wall tag, I'm gonna wait 2 years for Tekken 7.
If I relived the last 2 years again, I would do it the same way. I don't like it. I don't like it. Would you rather
But
I
as a
stop playing
competitor,
it completely?
I would expect you to adapt.
But I don't compete anymore. That was my
I'm on Jimmy's
adaptation.
But why?
That
Why
was-
don't you? But you care so much about tournaments. You still talk about how you only care about tournaments, and like you care about the competition in the game. That's what's really important. But you still don't feel like competing? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, okay. First of all, I will accept your bitch calling as a valid bitch calling. But
Okay.
in my defense, when it's something you don't like, you don't want to, learn these new things. I don't like it. Usually people that are in my position, when they don't like it, they quit. They just say, fuck this game and stop playing. Like, I could give you a list so long that you would be like, what the fuck is this? A change log? You know? I mean, think about it. Think about all the people that their inherent natural response to this thing they don't like was, fuck this game. Instead, I decided that I'm going to stop caring about this game competitively because I don't think it's a good competitive game. And that's it. You know, that's my conclusion. I care about competition the way I care about if I'm watching a Smash Brothers tournament. I care about the integrity of the tournament. I care about the players. I care about them hearing commentators. In that aspect, I care about competition. But when it comes to Tekken Tag 2, as a competitor, I don't even play in tournaments anymore. I don't like the system. I mean, fuck you. You're a bitch. Fuck you, Jimmy. Fuck you.
Harris got owned.
You're a bitch. Rip is a
got
bitch.
wrecked.
All three of you guys are bitches.
Harris got wrecked so hard.
I mean, you want
That's
me
the
to...
worst.
I
did not want to be on Jimmy's bad side ever after
Okay,
this.
okay.
That was too...
These guys are all off the call, first of all. Let me tell you guys, Internet, these guys could go fuck themselves. All three of them. You know, they got a lot of nerve talking shit to me. Fuck these assholes. I don't even like Tekken Tag 2. I've been playing it for 2 years to support the scene. Fuck these clowns. Thanks for watching the podcast. See you guys later, Internet.
Yeah, so that happened, right? No, Mr. Naps was correct. You call yourself a competitor, but you don't want to adapt. And like Aris actually got upset there when he turned them off and then ended the stream. And I remember I thought this was hilarious, and I talked to Bronson, and Bronson, he's a mean motherfucker, and he was like, nah, I think Jimmy J went too far with that. Like, he thought that Jimmy J crossed some boundary, that he could have chilled a bit. And after that, people started shitting a bit on Aris. But do you now understand, Mark Ingrove? Like, it's kind of like I can't eat anything that comes from the sea. I hate seafood, fish, or whatever. I just hate it, right? And then you'd be like, oh, how can you like this restaurant? I heard this fish is shit. But how did you know? How did you learn about that? Oh, JFK ate there. Yeah, I'm gonna think every fish is shit. Fiskbullar. Fisk. Yeah, so this is maybe the 10th time. Most top players? No. Who are most top players? I know a shit ton of people who love this game.